Okay, here we go again. I thought about mixing this rust color with the gray color I've previously used to give me another color, but I think it's going to give more life to the painting if I don't mix them and if I just let them visually mix on the canvas. It's always an option if you feel like your colors are too different from each other. You can sometimes mix two colors together to get something that's in between the two. And of course, like it did there, when I put a stroke over a color that's already there, it will still mix with it a little bit, so that will give it a bit of variation. Working at a bit of an awkward angle, so it's easy to slip a little, and also really easy to clean it up. That could be cleaned up by just coming around with the background, but just pick up a little less paint if I do it this way. Notice how much I go back to the palette. If I'm working in an area that doesn't pick up any other color, I'll do a few strokes. But as soon as I get to an area that's picking up paint, I will go back and refresh my paint on the brush so it stays nice and clean. Okay. One more stroke over here. Step back and look and have some of my hot chocolate. Coming back in to finish these gray areas. Just a value lighter. And then I will do it again with another value lighter. Too much paint on that brush. This is a lighter gray, quite a bit lighter. But because I'm picking up color from underneath, it needs to be quite a bit lighter. You usually get 2 or 3 layers before it starts to get impossible to get another color to show up at all. And the solution is simple, you just wipe off some paint, but if you can make it work in 2 or 3 layers, that's ideal. So I'm letting some of the first color show while adding some new color. And And of course I can always go back in if I need something to show up a little bit more. That's the previous gray mixture. But since it's picking up some other paint, it's getting lighter than I wanted. Needed to be lighter than it was, but not quite that much. So it does get into subtle nuances at this point. And that's why you do need to keep stepping back and looking, because you may be doing too much, you may be not doing enough. It has to be light enough so it can show, but not so light that it's going to jump out on the canvas for you. I'll get my lighter orange color going. The one I pre-mixed. And it will just go in a few little places. The gray underneath will keep it from showing up too bright. If it doesn't come off your brush nicely, make sure you're adding a little bit of medium. And I do find I like to jump all over the painting, so I'm adding the same lighter color wherever I see it. And that somehow keeps me from getting too fiddly, and it also keeps the painting cohesive as I go along. It's easier to read the colors if all of them are on there. Sometimes where a light meets a dark is a good opportunity to add more color. It just seems to fit with the way our eyes work. Sorry, I just realized I'm whipping this maul stick back and forth in front of your eyes. The hazards of trying to dance around a camera here without hitting it. come in with my lighter gray color now and see how it's all reading. Again, just kind of liking the way the colors blend together rather than pre-mixing something that would be the exact shade that I need. There's still a lighter shade that's going to come in here. So I will leave some space for that. Often noses will have shine on them, so they will show up really white. And it's up to you to decide whether painting it white is too much or whether it's what it needs. I might get away with painting a little bit lighter in there. If you really want to paint looser and you're having trouble convincing yourself to stop fiddling with something, grab a bigger brush and just don't allow yourself to switch to the little ones. I'm doing this whole painting with a brush that's about 1/4 of an inch. And I can turn it to get a sharp line if I want. But if I was to grab a little brush and start fiddling away, it would be so easy to just have a fiddly painting. And that's not what I want with this. Sometimes it's kind of refreshing to have a little painting that's suggested rather than every little detail. And there's nothing wrong with painting detail. I mean, I did it for years where everything was really detailed. But that's only one way to paint. There's lots of ways to paint. It's going to need a little more variation in there, so one color lighter. Okay, now I need to step back, have a look again, see where it needs to go lighter, and mix up another color.